Pikmin 3 was a game tasked with a lot. Delivering a new entry in such an elusive franchise, it's something that you want to get right for sure. And the question of whether to break the mold or take a reserved approach is a pressing one. Nintendo here somehow managed to walk a tightrope between the two, if leaning slightly more on the reserved side. But how did this attempt fare in the 2013 release and by extension the 2020 Deluxe version of Pikmin 3? Find out in this review. Before you do, however, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications every time I upload, leave a like and comment any suggestions on how to improve my reviews going forward. Really appreciate any and all support and tips and tricks. So see you guys in the video, I guess. Roll it. The opening of the game is cinematic and grand, which is contrasted immediately by its microscopic scale. I mean, how... everything's so tiny, I love it. Scouring PNF 404 for fruit to feed the starving residents of Kapai is clearly an environmental allegory and sets up some relatable stakes for humanity in the real world. The way the Pikmin are first encountered in this installment is hilarious. And it makes them honestly seem scary, like something out of a horror movie or something of the like. It's brilliant. The early game being told through several lenses allows for cliffhangers and more of a non-conventional narrative for a Nintendo game. This unraveling storyline is cute and intriguing, but I only think personally that it would have been helped by a greater level of difficulty. The new provision system replaces the time limit of the original Pikmin game with fruit juice. Basically, if you have leftover juice, then you can go on another day. I think it's cool, and there seems to be enough fruit to last you the game. I only think that more fruit scarcity would have actually helped amplify the stakes of difficulty. The fruit names, however, are just hilariously quirky, and you're gonna love them. For a little chuckle, it's good fun. Getting Pikmin numbers back up after a genocide, in my opinion, is a little too easy this time around. Something I did like in terms of making the game nice and easy is restarting days, which is handy at times for when you spend, too long on certain objectives. The final boss is insanely stressful and forces you to utilize all Pikmin types and just really strategize effectively. So make sure you take notes during the rest of the game. Overall, this is a really enjoyable, although somewhat easy campaign. But being able to play this in split-screen co-op in the Deluxe just makes it even more enjoyable. Would definitely recommend that. This game delivers much needed revisions to the Pikmin gameplay formula. The lock-on is a new feature that makes targeting far easier. The auto pluck is a way better feature than button mashing like you used to have to do, every time you wanted to pluck the old Pikmin, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why I made that sound like a dirty thing. It's not. There's also the charge attack, which saves so much time for, throwing all your Pikmin. You can just send them on their merry way, and they're gonna do what they need to do. It's brilliant. The singular onion can now be made when the individual colored onions come together, and in my opinion, it not only looks cool, but it's also convenient for accessing all your Pikmin reserves at once. The game is, as usual, immediately super addictive and has all the same weird gameplay that the series is known for. You don't question all the new gameplay revisions, bells and whistles, because somehow they just all make so much sense to the Pikmin formula. Sometimes, however, the map is really hard to read because of the realistic terrain they decided to go for. In my opinion, the simpler ones from the older games were better. Luckily, there's the newly added Go Here feature, which is a time-saving godsend that lets you get somewhere in a near optimum amount of time. There's also the new Winged and Rock Pikmin, which are really clever new additions that interact with the world's puzzles in a satisfying way. Throwing bomb Pikmin accidentally and killing your squad happens way too easily. I kind of wish that there was a pause on mass throwing, the mass throwing function when handling them, because they can be dangerous. There's also this camera that you can sort of snap photos with and whatnot. It's a cool gimmick, I guess. You forget about it soon enough. I forgot it even existed. The cutscenes and interactions of this game are beautifully animated. The worlds are gorgeous and a step up from the other Pikmin games visually, because the terrain went for this somehow realistic style that actually works really well. These are also well designed and just a joy to uncover secrets in. There's also this ethereal soundtrack that somehow feels lonely but joyous and content with that overall. It evokes something I didn't think that I could feel otherwise, and I like it. The weather effects are ambient in the audio and visual department, although don't seem to change much gameplay wise, but that ambience is absolutely fire. The only glitch that I really encountered in this game in my entire playtime is that a blue Pikmin randomly glitched through a wall and died, and basically fell out of the world. Only the food that it was carrying remained, so a little bit weird there. The newly added side stories are a wonderful and well thought out addition to the deluxe version that definitely make it worth a replay. Olimar's Assignment is a great mode where a previous day's progress doesn't actually affect your progress the next. It also just simply feels great to play again with Olimar and Louie, because they're so iconic. You also end up feeling really bad for them because there's another campaign, Olimar's Comeback, that comes right after, where once again, they gotta go to PNF 404, and I'm sure they're sick of it by this point. Olimar's Comeback is a more challenging version of Olimar's Assignment. It also touches on the main criteria of challenge mode in an easier and more accessible way. Going for a platinum medal here is a decent challenge, honestly. Overall, it has a satisfying, if predictable, payoff, and in my opinion, is definitely worth playing. Bingo Battle, meanwhile, is a fun versus mode with a lot of options for customizing the rules. The Gathering idea was honestly a stroke of genius for a Pikmin minigame. The maps are really fun to play on and also aesthetically distinct. The power-ups here make it feel like Mario Kart levels of chaotic, so that's always a lot of fun. The only tiny little gripe that I really have here is that the game should probably ask if you want a tutorial, because sometimes new people will play with you and it's confusing to just have to explain all of it to them in your own words and them just not get it. Wish that was here. There's also mission mode, which is pretty much just a very bare bones kind of experience as far as narrative, and it's pure gameplay. It's pure practicing your strategy, becoming amazing at it if you can. Collect Treasure here is probably my favorite and basically just involves collecting treasure. Battle Enemies, I wonder what that one's about, am I right? This one also seems tough enough and like a good challenge for people. There's also Defeat Bosses, which will definitely challenge you, but not as much as the other two modes. Luckily, there is a newly added After Hours feature because, surprise, all of these missions are actually timed, and a lot of missions do put you over that time it takes, and definitely put you to the test. All in all, mission mode is not the most exciting of modes to play, but it's definitely good if you want to improve at strategizing and whatnot. You know, I get it. Taken as a whole, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is a faithful yet revitalized take on the Pikmin formula. It made a number of changes for the better, and the atmosphere and gameplay are at their absolute peak here. This game would have to earn an 8 out of 10 from me, and honestly, just go play it if you haven't played it, especially if you love Pikmin. It's a lot of good fun. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you loved this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, and also just comment any suggestions on how to improve my content. If you didn't like it, well, fuck you. Do those things anyway. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys a lot. See you in the next one. Bye.